Hello guys, this is Paramesh and today we're going to check about the first lesson of production. Before we continue, make sure you have subscribed to the channel. So today we're going to look at the face of FL Studio. So this lesson is really for beginners, and the first thing you need to have a computer or a PC. Another thing you need to have is the software itself. For me, I'm using FL Studio 20 because this tutorial is specifically for FL Studio. And so the first thing I'm going to do, let me open my FL Studio 20. Where is it here? Okay, here it is. Today I'm going to use a project, just a simple project I created. So this was just something very simple that I will use to teach you about FL Studio. Let me play it a little bit here. So this lesson specifically, it will be about the face. How does the FL Studio look? So how will you know if somebody is angry or is happy? This is because you look at the face of someone. So the first thing, and this is very important, let me cancel everything here. So there is something blank. So the first thing I'm going to show you, and is a very important thing that helps a lot, it is this place. It is called a hint panel. A hint panel, the function of the hint panel, the moment you make, for example, if I hover my mouse here, it will tell me that where your mouse is, that is the playlist. And if I hover my mouse in this place, it tells me that where your mouse is, that is the channel rack. And anywhere else. So if I hover my mouse here, it will tell me that that place is where I'm going to record I'm going to do my recordings. If I hover my mouse here, it will tell me that it is a metronome. So it is a very important key, and it's a very unique key in FL Studio because it makes your work easier. For example, you hear the channel rack and you don't know where it is. You just hover the mouse, and as you look at this place, as you look at the hint panel. So that's the one feature which is very essential during the production process or whatever you're going to do with FL Studio. So another thing you're going to check on, it is this place. That is called a playlist. A playlist, the function of the playlist, that's where I do my arrangement. That's where you do the things that, the patterns you've created, dynamics, you create dynamics using the playlist. For example, this place, like you can see here, I'm having my beat here, I'm having my chords, I'm having my strings, I'm having my plug here. So it is where I've done my arrangement, my musical arrangement. So like, for example, this beat starts with a low string. So it starts with the string and then the chords. So you see, like, that's where I do my range, and then I finalize it. Everything that I created, maybe that will be the chorus, the strongest part. So the playlist, that way you do your arrangement, different places or different patterns. So that's one. Okay, another thing is the piano roll. The function of a piano roll is, for example, I want to form chords, piano chords, but I don't have a piano, or if I want to do more advanced stuff. For example, this pattern here, where is it? The chords. The chords that I created here. If I open the piano, if I double click that place, it shows me the chords that I created. So this is where I create, so I can make any change on the chords. For example, I can do that. So you can hear it gives you something different. That's where you can change, you can make changes for a specific voice. Yep, so that's the function of the piano. You can do more advanced stuff, but that will check later. So if I want to make chords, I use a piano. Another place, a channel rack. So if at home you're having a shoe rack, specifically that place is where you're placing your shoes. For example, in the kitchen, you're having a cabinet where you're having plates, you're having cups, you're having the spoon, etc. So it is like a place where you're holding your instruments. Like if I want to add instruments, if I want to place instruments somewhere, like if I load an instrument, I'll not load an instrument directly to the playlist, this place where I'm doing the arrangement. I'll load it to the channel rack. First, I'll place it there so that I know what to do with it. So these are, for example, these are conga. If I am adding another instrument, Let me take an example. I'm adding maybe the heart. So these hearts, I'll take them to the channel rack. So like if you see, I'm having a lot of maybe not a lot, but some instrument. I have kick, I have claps, hats, FL keys, morphine, auto voice, synth plug, etc. So you see, I have a lot of stuff in the rack. So that's where I'll be creating different voices, different patterns in the rack. For example, if I want to edit my voice, I want to change something, I'll go here, like specifically this is a conga or this is a string solo. So this is where I place my instruments first in the channel rack. And then there's another this place, this other tool. It is called a mixer. Okay, a mixer. If you're in the kitchen and you're having those people who cook, and you want to let me say, confuse them in simple English. So mixing means like you're taking different things and you're trying to make them to be one. You're trying to make them to sound one without any confusion, without any errors. So that's the function of the mixer. So in the channel rack, I have a lot of instruments. So what I do, I select all of them and then I take them to the mixer. This is the mixer. So from the mixer, for example, if I load them here, if I load my instruments, so you see I have the kick, I have the clap, the hats, etc. So what I do, for example, I'm playing the instruments. Let me start where the chorus is. For example, the chorus. So if I hear like there is something that is louder than the other from the mixer, now I either reduce it, or something that is low, I either uplift it. I uplift the voice. So now let me try to demonstrate. For example, let me use the claps. The claps. Okay. So this. Now it's not there. So or I overdo. So specifically, it's where you are doing some small adjustment until you find the perfect, like all the instruments they sound as one, or you make a different adjustment, like you add plugins. For example, I have an equalizer. Most of the things that I do using the mixer. So that's the place where it's like you're doing the cooking, like you're doing the editing, you're manipulating voices, you're editing, you're trying to see which voices are competing with each other. So the mixer. And then, okay, I hope that's not hard. We're just looking at the face of a studio. First, the playlist, where you're doing the patterns, and now the piano roll, and now we have the channel rack. And then here we have the mixer. So there's a browser. So sometimes maybe I'm trying to find some plugins. You see this section here. This is where I take some instruments. I take different instruments into the channel rack. Maybe, and now I want to take an instrument and it's not there. Let me close this piano roll. And it's not there. So I will not do any cooking if I don't have the place, if I don't have the G-core, if I don't have anything to cook. What will I cook? So the thing that I'm supposed to do now, this browser. That's where I'll take the ingredients that I want. That's where I'll take the equipments that I want to create what I want to create. So it is a very important place because that's where you're taking the plugins. So if it is hidden, you'll not know. So that's where I'll click it and here they come. I click it, they vanish like a ghost. Click it, they come. I click it, they vanish. So it's a very important place where I take a lot of things. I have the packs, I have the plugin database, etc. And then I have this place. This is called open project. Like if you look at the hint panel, if you remember. So this place, okay. So let me go back to the playlist. If I click this one, it shows me all the different stuff I've created. So if I hover my mouse on the beat, you hear how it plays, and then the kick, the bass, the chords. So it's another way, like I want to listen something, like I want to listen to a specific pattern by itself, how it sounds. Yeah. So let me finish escape. So here I have it's called an open project. So this one now it's called a open plugin. A plugin is like what we do, the manipulation. Like you are doing manipulation of different voices. So here you have a lot of plugins in which I can create voices. So I have flex, I have scene, morphine, etc, etc, etc. So we have effects like parametric EQ, we have fruity controller, we have VFX envelope, we have a vocoder, etc, sound goodizer, etc. So we have a lot of plugins. And then we have these plays, like if you have ever been to a church, or if you have ever been to a band, you've ever seen some live performance. There's this thing like the drummer always where the leg is, it taps. So it gives you the tempo, like if I'm tapping, so it gives you like a specific speed. It's like giving you something the speed of the song. So specifically that's the tapper. So those people are having a keyboard and you want to find where the singer is, or how fast is the song or how slow is the song. So you use this one, you tap, is a shortcut. So it gives you a specific tempo. So let me reset this one to 100 BPM, the original speed it was. And then there's this far end is like a touch, like if I'm having a kick, where's my kick? I place my on the channel rack. Yeah, if I place anything, now it sounds. So if I change the keys, it sounds like the keys. The morphine, etc. So it's like a MIDI keyboard by its own. Yeah. An extra and a very important note, something very important to note. One is if I'm starting to create a beat, first I must make sure that's the number one thing. I open the browser. Number two, I open the channel rack. Number three, after the channel rack, I use the piano roll or to create some chords or different things. Now after that, I take them to the playlist. After the playlist, now I take them to the mixer where I do different stuffs, etc, etc. So lesson 2, we'll be looking at something different. So if you have any question, ask in the comment below, and I'll be glad to dig or to tap into the question as we proceed. So thank you. Don't feel discouraged. Production is fun. Okay, it's very fun. Yep. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Yeah, don't forget.